Well, welcome everybody to our Saturday morning webinar. One of the stabilities in life with this time of ever-changing things. My name is Judy Feldhausen, and I'm joined today by my good friend, Bob Wischmeier. Welcome, Bob.
Thank you, Judy. Appreciate it. It's good to be here. Thanks.
It is good to be here. It's good to hear everybody's voice in this time of social distancing, even though we can't be in the room with each other. You know, we've been doing this webinar for so many years in just this way. I was thinking this morning about all the things that are changing, and this is part of the stability in my life is Saturday morning webinar with our group of friends and almost family here at Synergy. And today we're going to actually continue our lessons with Les Brown and his book, The 12 Laws That Turn Dreams into Reality. And this is really a timely message. And I know I say that almost every week, but it really is, because we're in a time of uncertainty. We're in a time of newness, and we have to adapt to that. So we need to really leap and grow our wings on our way down. And isn't that the truth?
Yeah, Judy, and if I could add something here, a couple of really quick things to everybody on the call. We've been doing this webinar for a very long time, and basically under Dan Hammer's direction, because Dan really has led out in this, undoubtedly he has through the years. Also, every Monday morning, Dana and I host a conference call as well. Judy and I have been talking about some things. David Munoz has been on that call many times. We try to give Dan a break and not pull Dan into having a speaking part on our Monday call, because he does so much otherwise. But every Monday morning, we have a 30-minute phone call together. It's how we start the week together. And several of you that are on this webinar get on that call with us on Monday mornings, but a lot of you don't, and we'd love to have you join us. There's no way to do it at a perfect time, and so we do it at 7:30 a.m. Mountain Time every Monday morning. This Monday coming up, Josh McKell, one of our new guys from Synergy Worldwide, is going to be a guest speaker on that call. It's only a 30-minute call, but we would love to have you join us, so keep that in mind. So that's that. The second thing to mention just quickly, for those of you who are not aware, Dane talks a lot especially on our Monday morning calls. He talks a lot about his mom and dad. His dad is 94. His dad's 96 maybe. His mom is 91. But his mother got sick last week, and she passed away a couple of days ago. And so Dane's down in California now with his family, and taking care of his mom's situation down there. Keep him in your thoughts, would you? He's well aware that his mother lived a long life, a good life, and he's good with that. And there isn't a deep sorrow involved, but you can't lose your mom and not feel it. So be mindful of that for Dane and his family. Okay, thank you very much, Judy.
Well, thank you, Bob. And our thoughts and prayers are with Dane and his family. It's anytime someone passes, it is a time of sadness and melancholy. Even though you do want to celebrate their life, there's still that tug at our hearts for missing that person.
Yeah, there really is, and we've known death here in our home, and so we have maybe it's a little closer to us right now than normal. Judy, is it okay now for me to share this letter that Donald Clark forwarded to us?
Yes, please do.
So Donald Clark, one of our distributors, one of Dan's distributors out of New York, sent the following to us, and it's a letter that he received this week from Les Brown, who you see pictured on your screen. And so, given the time that we live in, this is very appropriate. This is a brand new letter from Les Brown. And so I'm going to just quickly read it, and we'll go through our webinar, our leadership development webinar right after this. But he says, hello, this is Les Brown. The great philosopher and theologian Howard Thurman once said, keep alive the dream. For as long as a man has a dream in his heart, he cannot lose the significance of living. That quote stands out more than ever for me now as I see the fear that is gripping the world, trying to kill those dreams. Millions of souls around the globe, quarantined in their homes, millions more out of work, with an uncertain future and seemingly overwhelmed by fear and frustration. It is in times like these we must remember the significance of our living, the manifestations of our dreams, and the determination of our destiny. We must remember that each and every one of us has greatness within us. And this is just such Les Brown, you know. Every one of us has greatness within us. The great President Roosevelt eloquently said, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. We cannot allow ourselves to give in to the fear. While they may have ordered us sheltered inside our homes, they can never quarantine our minds or imprison our imaginations. Today, I want you to know that you have the faith, patience, perseverance, and unstoppable spirit that will see you through these challenging times. During this time, it's the time to reflect, reset, and revitalize those hopes and dreams that may have been lying dormant for years. In every darkness, in every challenge, exists the light and lessons to ignite the human soul. Open your eyes to the awareness and seek out opportunities that are present. There are dozens of large companies hiring thousands of workers as we speak. People are starting new businesses from their home with the help of the internet, which gives them access to a whole new group of customers. Dozens of my friends and colleagues are shifting their businesses online, whether it be coaching, consulting, e-commerce, or affiliate marketing. I myself will be doing more online speaking and teachings during this time. Let us not let our external circumstances dictate our internal success. As opportunities may come my way, I will share them with you. There's one thing I know for sure. Never will I allow anyone to control my financial future, and neither should you. As I just passed my 75th birthday, I realize some of you might think of me as an old timer, but let me tell you, time never gets old. The time is now to master your mindset, sharpen your skill set, and redefine your relationships. Surround yourself with people who have a positive mental attitude, who are taking action and implementing new ways of doing business, and who are helping those in need. I know I have a long way to go and millions yet to reach with my message, and I will not stop. Neither will you. I want you to use this time to rekindle your mind, rediscover those dreams and desires, and right yourselves as we weather this storm together. You have something special in you. You have greatness within you. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Les Brown. Judy.
Wow, and what a message. And as we talk about this particular law, you know, that end of that letter actually talked about taking action. And that's really what he's saying. I just love this picture, Bob, that that, you know, these two going down the mountain in a snowball and saying, still, though, you have to admit that this is easier than walking. And
Yeah, I love it.
it really, it is, you know, and sometimes momentum can become like this. I don't know if you've ever been there, but it can be like you're being dragged along. But the interesting thing is that there is a beginning to this snowball, and it started to be able to fit in somebody's hand, right? And so it takes more than being in the snowball. You have to create the snowball. And that's how,
Judy,
right.
go ahead.
That's how, we want to start with those small daily disciplines.
Yeah, when you had that very first slide up, about leap and grow your wings on your way down. I don't know how many of you guys watch National Geographic things and documentaries and whatnot, but I do. I love that kind of stuff. And I see baby birds all the time in my mind. Like there's a duck that actually nests in a hole in a tree way up high, and those little baby, which is strange to me that a duck would nest in a tree. But anyway, I've seen those pictures where those little baby ducks will get to the edge of that hole and leap out of that tree and land on the ground, and they go a long way. Or seabirds, the babies, those little fledglings, literally leap off a cliff and tumble down. Boy, it takes a lot of faith to leap and grow your wings on the way down. But I guess that's how you start, and you have to take action. I was going to just share a thought here too with regard to this, the momentum that first of all, you have to take action. Years ago, I had a couple of really good friends, Paul and Tom. I roomed with them. We lived in an old house in an avocado orchard in Ventura, California. And we were all good buddies. I mean, this is a long time ago. We were young and crazy and going to school. But anyway, Paul and Tom had decided that they were going to create this business. And I mean, they were really going to do it. And they told everybody. They had business cards made up. They went out and had dinners together, all this kind of stuff. And I'm not kidding you guys. They never once had a single job, not once. They did everything else, endless discussions and that kind of thing. But they never did do a single thing until finally just faded away. And as I thought about that, and Judy, I'm taking up too much time here, but I thought about my wife, Bonnie. She had this idea over in Hamilton, Montana, in the Bitterroot Valley where we lived, that she wanted to open up a vintage, new and used store with antiques and vintage furniture and cool stuff like that. And she said, I want to do that. And we've got our heads together, and we found a really cool place that we could rent. I went in, redid the floors and redid the walls and exposed the brick and all this kind of cool stuff. And she simply opened up a business. She had an idea. She talked to me about it. We talked to a few people about it, figured out how to get the business license, that kind of thing. Simply took action. A year later, Bonnie was voted best in the Bitterroot Valley for her store. It's that taking action that makes that difference. Getting that snowball started, Judy, and then rolling it down the hill.
Wow, that's amazing. And that's true. That taking action part is so important. And we have to do it really from the time we get up in the morning. We have to create a momentum that's going to last us throughout the day.
Well, we do. And, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to ask, there really is different things in the day that we need to do to continue our overall momentum. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, I do. And, I've worked in youth programs for years, especially with the Boy Scouts of America for years and years. I've worked with hundreds of boys in the course of my lifetime. And I used to tell the boys, the first two disciplines of the day are to make your bed and say your prayers. And I think it's so interesting that Les Brown teaches that same thing in this book, how important it is that you get up, make your bed, get on your knees and pray and express gratitude for the gift that you have of another day. That's how you start that day. Before most people have even got out of bed, you've already completed two disciplines and started your day off on the right foot. I think that's it sets a positive tone for the day, Judy. It gets you going. You want to use that little block of time in the morning to meditate, to think, maybe to journal, to read your scripture, to read something, but launch your day Right. Does that make sense?
Yes, and to actually after the launch is, I believe, the organization, so that you have a plan for what you are doing during the day. You know, that's, we talk so much about the 21-day challenge, but having that plan in front of you to know, are you making phone calls? Are you doing something, you know, just creative, maybe in your business? Are you following up? Are you being educated? You know, creating that plan is so important to get your day going with your business.
Yeah, I keep a binder on my desk every morning. That's the first thing. I have that out. I'm looking at it. I'm taking notes, writing things down, things to do today, that kind of a thing. Another part of that too, I think, you guys, is that you do need to do something relative to having something to eat or drink or whatever. When I get up in the morning, I make a pro-arginine up. Mine's sitting here on my desk now. But all things synergy, if you will. I use Biome Shake every morning too. I just feel like that's one of the things that I need to do, is to make that shake. I know Dan Hammer makes up an Oryx shake that's, it's important to him to have that drink every morning. And to me as well, I have frozen berries off of my own bushes and that kind of thing. And I try to ingest something that's going to give me some energy as I start my day off. So there's a lot of things in the morning that we need to do, Judy. Then we get to the afternoon. So maybe Judy will share some thoughts with us regard to that.
Well, so yes, absolutely. And, a lot of times people think, well, if I take a break for lunch, or, if I stop doing this, I'm going to lose momentum. And I totally do not believe that. I think that we really need to take that break to recharge our batteries. And right now, all of us just about are working from our homes, and there are other people with us. I spoke to a guy yesterday that his wife was home from work. His kids were home from school. We were talking business, and there's a lot of noise in the background, and that's happening everywhere. So I believe that in sometime during our day, we have to stop and break and connect with people, either in our home or friends and family outside the home, to give us a recharge of our batteries and to really bring the community together, because that is going to give us energy to continue.
Another, in my notes, I made a little note. I just simply wrote E9, which is really helpful in the afternoon. I don't know about you guys, but I can hit a little bit of a slump in the afternoon. But I wanted to share a couple of really quick things about this. My son, Ben, who works for Chevron Oil down in Houston, has a master's degree in industrial hygiene, which is really, it's all about safety, compliance, health, welfare, that kind of a thing. And he's used that degree to in his work. That's what he does. And one of the things that they require, one of the things he requires of the people that he works with, is that they get away from their desk. He says, only stay at your desk for 2 hours. Step away from your desk every couple of hours. Step away, walk around a little bit, stretch, breathe, whatever. Refresh your mind, get away, get your eyes off that screen. Those are important little things during the course of your day, and especially in the afternoon. Always be cautious how much you eat at noon. Seriously, if you eat too much at noon, you're going to hit the wall at 2 o'clock. Judy, I think that's fair to say. It happens to all of us. If we overeat at noon, man, it just slows us down, something terrible. And so we need to be mindful of that, cautious of that. We want to get the most out of every day, right? We want to get up, get started right. We want to hit that afternoon and still be able to move forward. My body tells me when I need some extra Pro-Arginine Plus. It's often in the late afternoon, I'll just feel like, you know what? I need a PA9. I need a Pro-Argi. I have it in my woodshed. I have it in my shop. I have it in my truck. I have it in the house. I have it in my briefcase. I know that sounds crazy, but I want it at my fingertips. It's that kind of a supplement. So anyway, Judy, moving right along.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, and as we're talking about working at our desk and taking breaks, in coaching, I teach something called power sessions, and it is intense focus on a subject. And when you can do that, you have intense focus on whatever that task is. It's going to have you work smarter and not harder. One time I was coaching a woman who worked for a nonprofit, and she had been trying to get a grant through for her nonprofit for 6 months. And she said, there's so much to it. I just have the hardest time. And we got her into some power sessions where she had no distractions, and she was able to do that grant before our next session the next week. And it was just because of those power sessions. So do short bursts of work rather than long times.
Yeah, awesome. Great counsel. Great counsel. Yeah, you gotta like brickwork, huh?
You gotta like brickwork.
Yes. You know, when I was young, I worked on a brick crew. I was what they called hod tender. I'm the guy that mixed all the mud and packed all the block and set up all the scaffolding. That is some dang hard work right there. Even Bonnie's laughing over here.
She remembers you coming home.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. My hands were so calloused and hard, I couldn't even put my hand on her leg for fear of tearing her nylon stockings back in those days. Remember nylon stockings?
Oh, my gosh.
Those
yes.
are some. Yeah, I was young and tough, let me tell you. Well, Judy, so persistence. Talk to us about persistence.
So so the whole never get up. You know, we're studying on Monday mornings. We're studying Og Mandino and the greatest salesman in the world. And next week, Josh is going to be speaking. But the following week, we will actually be up to scroll number 3. And it's just so apropos here that scroll number 3 is I will persist until I succeed. So just to keep going and going. Before the virus, I was working out at the gym every day. And every day I not only went and did it, but I continued to do a little more. So I have a personal challenge. So if I can do 12 reps of something, whether it's, you know, curls or leg lifts or something, I will do my 12 and then say, but do I have another one in me? And so I do my best to get that next curl going. Sometimes it's not pretty, but I can do it. And then the next time that I'm doing curls in the gym, it's easier for me to do 13. And now I can try a 14th. And it's like this guy building the brick wall. You know, it's one brick at a time. And if we continue to be persistent, we can build the brick wall or do whatever we want to achieve. Isn't that true?
Yeah, it's so true, you guys. My son Ben sent I keep mentioning Ben here, I don't know why. But anyway, Ben sent us a little video a couple of weeks ago. Well, it's been longer than that. Anyway, he's bench pressing 300 pounds, and one of his buddies was there to spot him. I was talking about lifting weights. 300 pounds is an enormous amount of weight. And but he was so proud that he was able to do that, and it was a goal that he had set. He had persisted for, a long time, years literally, to try to bench press 300 pounds, and he completed that. I was so proud of him. That's a huge bench press. But persistence is key. And I was thinking about in Malcolm Gladwell's book, Outliers, he talks about what is called the 10,000 hour rule. And the 10,000 hour rule is has to do with working on a project, working on something you can't really say that you've perfected it until you've got about 10,000 hours in it. And he talks about the Beatles, about how the Beatles, before they ever really made it big, across the world, they went to Germany and played in some bars in Germany for a really long time. And they would play for hours and hours and hours on end. Oftentimes they just had to play the same songs over and over again because they only had a few songs that they knew originally. But the more they played, the more songs they learned, the more they learned their techniques, and they became better and better and better at what they were doing, until finally, when they really truly got launched, they knew what they were doing. They persisted and they succeeded, Judy.
Yeah, and that reminds me of right now, it's a unique opportunity to do online webinars. And I don't know if anyone around on this webinar is interested in doing their own, but it's a great opportunity to start small and be persistent, just as if you were going to become a speaker. I remember when I started speaking at Kiwanis Club meetings and Chamber of Commerce meetings, and just little tiny things that I didn't get paid for. I wasn't very good at, but I got better every time I spoke. And that's what we need to do to expand our business. So if doing webinars is something that's of interest to anyone, start getting on camera with your family and practicing and finding a friend to practice on, so that through persistence, you can create excellence.
Yeah, and Dan's going to be teaching doing a webinar on how to use Zoom for your business too. So that's going to be a great webinar coming up that Dan's got planned for us. What about, Judy, what about distractions? There we go. Look at that guy. I can relate.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? So, it reminds me of a story of this couple that a little on the mature side, and they tended to get distracted easily. And so one night they're sitting watching television, and Earl says to his wife Mary, honey, I'm going into the kitchen. Do you want anything? And she says, yeah, I want a bowl of ice cream. And so he's like, okay. And she says, well, I want strawberries and I want whipped cream, and you better write it down because you're going to get distracted when you get in there. And he's like, no, I can remember, no problem. I can do that. I know exactly what you want. You want ice cream and strawberries and whipped cream, and no problem. I'm not going to get distracted. So 20 minutes later, he comes back out of the kitchen and he's holding a plate of bacon and eggs. And she looks at him and she says, but honey, where's my toast? So,
yeah. Oh, brother. Sounds like the Bob and Bonnie show.
But, and it's true. Distractions, right? It's all about those distractions. And, think about right now in your mind some of the distractions that you have in your life. And we've got some here on the screen. And the first is fear. And, fear can stop us. It has stopped me from many, many things, that need to be safe, to stay inside that box that we all tend to stay in. We need to get out of the box. I always tell myself it's not about me getting out of the box. I don't have a box to get out of. So I'm not going to have that need for safety around me. And then there's the next thing is laziness. And it's not just being lazy. I think what it is not having that self-motivation and not knowing what our why is. We've talked so much about Simon Sinek and looking for that why. But when you have a reason to get up in the morning, when you have that thing in your gut that says, I need to do this because, then I believe that laziness absolutely disappears because you have that self-motivation, not outward motivation, but inward motivation to do something. Last Thursday on the seminar, the Synergy webinar that we had, Dan Higginson, you can just feel his need for leaving a legacy. And it is what drives him and gets him going and actually makes you want to join in with him. So really find what your why is. It's such a big, big thing. And I know there's so many people on this webinar that know what their why is. And it shows in who they are and what they do. And of course, other people. So, we're in the time of staying at home, staying in place. There are so many distractions of other people right now. I tell you, my husband he's wonderful. He's not here now. He's finally on a job after 2 weeks. He's an electrician and someone needed his service, but he's sitting with me. And so I don't have an office like most people do. I got rid of my desk. So my house is my office. So it's hard for me to go into my office and close the door. And he's always trying to distract me. Like, would you like to watch this movie on television? Or did you want something to eat? Or his text message alert is so distracting. It is a horn that doesn't stop until he actually turns it off. So, those distractions are amazing. I talked to a lady yesterday in Arizona that wants to start a health and wellness concierge boutique. And she says, I've been doing this. I've been thinking about this for 4 years, but other people are telling me not to. What do you think? I'm like, what do I think? I think you should do it. That's what I think. Don't let those other people continue to distract you and to smash on your dreams. If this is your dream, you have to go for it. And isn't that true, Bob?
Oh, it's so true. It's so true. Bonnie and I had planned for years. We loved where we lived in Montana. We lived in the Bitterroot Valley. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Western Montana, but it's one of the most beautiful places in the world. The Bitterroot Mountains on the west side and the Sapphire Mountains on the east side and the Bitterroot River running right down through town. It's just breathtakingly beautiful over there. But years ago, we had this dream that it was time for us to move on, to do something different. And I had a lot of people say, why would you ever want to leave the beautiful Bitterroot Valley of Western Montana to go somewhere else? And people would ask that kind of a question, wondering what in the world is wrong with you? Why would you ever want to leave here? But we had a dream. We had something else that we wanted to do. And we had to make some things happen in order for us to be able to fulfill that dream. They were very specific things. We wrote those things down. And we were not going to be distracted. We knew what we needed to do. Finally, we were able to put it all together. 7.5 years ago, we were able to pull the plug and move on to a new adventure, moving out to our farm operation in North Idaho. And it was a brilliant thing to do. It was the right thing to do. We didn't let the distractions, we didn't let the obstacles that we had to overcome get in the way. We knew where we wanted to go. We knew what we had to do it. And we had to take action, but we did. We found ways. And I think, we've seen the hand of God in that in our lives, where you have a good thing that you want to do, something that's positive. He helps along the way as well. And I believe that. And so anyway, there are a lot of distractions. And one of those distractions, Judy, is overthinking the problem. Do you think? Yep.
Yeah, I love this picture.
I love that picture. Yeah. Overthinking is the biggest cause of our unhappiness. Keep yourself occupied. Keep your mind off things that don't help you. Think positive. Life's unpredictable, and you don't want to overthink it. Set those goals and get moving forward. And the word overthinking sometimes to me seems like a bit of a oxymoron. I mean, I don't think I've ever overthought anything in my life. I'm just not that way. I'm more of an action person. But yeah, we can overthink things and never get moving. And so the counsel is, if you've got that dream, just keep going, start moving, let the momentum catch you and keep you moving forward. And it works. And think positive, you guys. Having that positive thinking and it makes a difference in life. Well, it just does. There you go, Judy. That's all. I guess that's it.
Yeah, and I do a lot of into doctors' offices, a lot of cardiovascular screenings, and it shows on the screening stress levels of people. And I talk to people all the time about their worry gene. Like, do you have the worry gene? And I can tell by looking at the monitor whether they have the worry gene or not, because it's thinking about the same thing over and over without resolution. And that to me is what overthinking is. It's looking at the negative what ifs. What if this happens? What if that happens? What if? But in a negative way, and looking at it as if something terrible is going to transpire. And if you can just take that same what if and change it from what if it's going to be great? What if something is going to be good about this? What if they order? How am I going to handle it if I get so many per-arginine orders in a day, in a week, in a month, in a year? How am I going to handle that? That type of overthinking is going to support us.
The other side of that too is that when you do start moving forward with things, when you do jump in with both feet and get things going, you're gonna run into things that you just don't know the answers to. There are just a lot of things in life that we don't know the answer to, but we find those answers. That's a part of that learning curve, is that you get out there, you get on it, you jump in, and you're gonna have things thrown at you, but so what? That's how you really learn and grow. If you want to really become who you have the potential to become, it's not going to come painless. You've got to face some adversity. You've got to face some challenges, learn from those things, and then grow from there, Judy.
Yeah, absolutely. About a month ago, I started working with a specialist, a LinkedIn specialist. And I did a little bit with LinkedIn here and there, but was never consistent and never really knew what I was doing. And I've been working with this professional where now I probably spend at least 30 minutes a day just responding to messages from people on LinkedIn and setting up appointments to talk to them. It's absolutely amazing. And I've gone from how do I check my messages to being able to engage someone in a conversation within 2 to 3 messages so that I can spread my message of health and wellness to the world. And it is absolutely so exciting. And I could never have imagined it a month ago. And I really feel like I've jumped in with both feet and not become an expert, but started to be comfortable around what I'm doing on that platform.
That's awesome. Good for you. Just a little long on our webinar this morning.
Yes, I knew it would be, because this is such an exciting topic for me. Just because, our good friend Jean LaValle, we always used to say, if you don't know how to do something, if that someone asks you to do, just say yes and then figure it out. And I've been doing that for years.
Yeah, you have. You have. That's right. Yeah, that's and it applies to everything in life. It really does. So anyway,
Absolutely.
Thanks you guys for joining us this morning. We really appreciate it. Just kind of a reminder too, we do have that Monday morning call coming up every Monday morning. We love to have more people get on that call with us. I know that it means a lot to Dane if people join the call. So be keeping him in your thoughts, his family, and appreciate that. So anyway, questions? Anybody have questions or thoughts? Well, Donald Clark said he really enjoyed Judy's joke. so did I.
I'm glad.
It's too funny. Yeah, that's great. Great stuff. Well, okay, Judy, we good?
We're good. Nobody has any questions. We'll let you get back to your family. Stay at home. Stay safe. And remember to love one another.
Yeah. We'll see you all again before you know it, right?
Good morning. Just quick.
Yes.
Just a quick thought. I want to thank Bob for reading that letter. It means a lot, and it was so fortuitous to have it come in this week, the week that you're going to be, or the weekend that you're going to be doing this presentation, and you got it fit right in to share with the group. And this webinar today was pretty good, very, very good, in fact. So I thank you all.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you. And
Thanks
thank you
for sharing it with us. Yeah, we appreciated it very much. Interesting how those kind of...
Yes.
Well, in any event, good to talk to everybody. Take care. We'll see you all again before you know it. Bye-bye.